Well, good morning. I'm pleased to be here today with Nate Horner, our President of Treasury Board and Minister of Finance, and by Jim Dinning, our Chair of the Alberta Pension Plan Engagement Panel. In the fall of 2019, Alberta's government launched the Fair Deal Panel to advance Alberta's economic interests and look at ways that Alberta could achieve a fair deal in Confederation. One of the items the panel considered and discussed with Albertans through a series of town halls was an Alberta pension plan. Was it possible that Albertans could receive better pension benefits by contributing to a made-in-Alberta pension plan? And if so, what would that look like? Well, today we want to update you on our work in exploring this opportunity. In 2020, Alberta's government commissioned Lifeworks, an independent third-party expert consultant, to examine the potential of an Alberta pension plan and identify what it could mean for Albertans. Lifeworks' report shows that creating our own pension plan could benefit all Albertans. According to their analysis, an Alberta pension plan could increase benefits for seniors, reduce premiums for workers, and protect the pension interests and benefits of all Albertans. The Lifeworks analysis estimates that Albertans could save more than $5 billion in the first year alone if we moved from the CPP to an Alberta pension plan. That's because hardworking Albertans have paid much more into the CPP than Alberta's seniors get back in pension benefits. What does $5 billion in savings mean for Albertans? Well, there are a few potential scenarios. $5 billion could mean more money for seniors, who could see larger monthly pension benefits. Seniors might even receive a $5,000 to $10,000 bonus payment when they retire, if that's how Albertans want to design the pension. There's more money for their household at a critical time. $5 billion could mean larger paychecks for employees. If we put the entire amount towards reducing premiums, Alberta's workers would pay $1,425 less in annual premiums to an Alberta pension plan than they do right now in CPP premiums. Even a portion of that would be a major affordability boost for families struggling to buy groceries and pay for our other priorities. And because employers match the CPP premiums their employees pay, it would also mean savings for our businesses and less of their earnings being sent to Ottawa. That's annual savings of $1,425 per year per worker could be invested back in the company or used to hire more workers, strengthening the Alberta advantage. Another important benefit of an Alberta pension plan is it would be more stable than the current federal plan. With a potential transfer of over $300 billion in assets from the CPP, an Alberta pension plan would be able to deliver benefits over the long term at a lower cost than the CPP. This is possible because Alberta's younger demographic and strong labour force. According to the analysis, an Alberta pension plan would have a much bigger pool of assets compared to its number of retirees, and that means great pension security for Albertans. With an Alberta pension plan, Albertans would not only have more money in their pockets, that money would be portable. So employees would be able to move and work throughout other provinces and territories without disrupting their benefits, just as it is with Quebec's provincial pension plan. Alberta's government would work with our partners in the Quebec pension plan and the CPP so that whether you live in Alberta or move across the country, you would still receive your pension benefits with no disruption or decrease. The reality is, since the inception of the CPP, Albertans have been paying much more into it than they've gotten back during that same time, about $60 billion more. And with compound interest, our share has grown to $334 billion, which is about $75,000 per Albertan. It's not insignificant. Alberta is the economic engine of Canada, and our young population, our nation-leading employment rate, and higher pensionable earnings means that we're providing an outsized contribution to CPP. And as our population continues to grow, so did the number of Albertans contributing to a pension plan. As more people see Alberta as a desirable place to find a job and raise a family, an Alberta pension plan would become even more secure from having more workers contributing to the plan. Alberta's prosperity has been made possible by the hard work and pro-growth policies of our government. We already subsidize many federal programs because of our productivity, but we can choose to have our pension contributions stay in Alberta to ensure it's there when we retire. I believe that an Alberta pension plan would be fairer and could make life more affordable for all Albertans. It could bring more benefits for seniors, higher take-home pay for workers, and strengthen the Alberta advantage to attract business. I believe it's the right decision for our province. But I also believe in making sure that every Albertan has their say. We want to hear what you believe. It's your pension. So it's your choice. As we have always said, we won't make any decisions on establishing an Alberta pension plan until Albertans have their say. Now that we have this report with the most up-to-date numbers, we're turning the discussion over to Albertans and a panel led by former Finance Minister Jim Dinning. We want to hear your thoughts and concerns through this panel. And if we hear that Albertans are interested and supportive of taking next steps, we will work toward providing you with the opportunity to choose an Alberta pension plan in a referendum. I will now turn it over to Minister Nate Horner to provide more details on the analysis and upcoming engagement.
Good morning, and thank you, Premier. Today we're releasing the results of the much-anticipated independent report on a potential Alberta pension plan. As Premier stated, we started this journey back in 2020 when we accepted the recommendation from the Fair Deal panel to review and consider a potential Alberta pension plan, or APP. We owe it to Albertans to explore how an APP would affect them. As a first step, we contracted Lifeworks, formerly Morneau Chappelle, an independent consultant and a recognized leader in pension and benefits administration and actuarial analysis. Lifeworks did a deep dive into the costs, benefits, and structure of a potential Alberta pension plan. After doing an initial review, Lifeworks ran the numbers again after updated statistics from the Chief Actuarial Officer were released and analysis of the CPP were released at the end of 2022. This was key to ensure the report was based on the most up-to-date, accurate information possible. Their final report shows that an APP could mean tremendous cost savings each year for Albertans and employers, while providing at least the same, if not better, benefits as the Canada Pension Plan. The CPP has benefited from our young working population, our higher employment rates, and higher pensionable earnings. Because of this decades-long outsized contribution by Albertans to the CPP, the report shows that Alberta's share of the CPP would be worth $334 billion by 2027. With that large asset transferred to Alberta, an APP could keep contributions in Alberta for Albertans. Right now, under the CPP, the contribution rate for base benefits is 9.9% of pensionable earnings, evenly split between employees and employers. In comparison, the report calculates that an APP contribution rate to provide the same level of benefits would be in the ballpark of only 5.9%. That's up to $1,425 back into the pockets of each Alberta employee and employer every year in lower contribution rates. Those who are self-employed would save double of that, or $2,850 per year. We could also use a portion of those savings to improve pension benefits here at home so that seniors can better plan for retirement on reduced income. The report also shows that benefits for Albertans could be more secure under an Alberta pension plan than under the CPP. With $334 billion in assets, an APP could have a large financial backstop to cover any benefit payments for decades, providing significantly more security than the federal pension plan. Of course, launching an APP would come with significant setup and transition costs, as well as ongoing operating expenses. The report estimates that an APP could cost up to $2.2 billion to set up. This number will depend on whether Alberta were to use existing service providers, which would lower the cost, or new service providers, which would mean higher costs. The report deliberately doesn't make a recommendation on which approach would work best for Albertans. More research needs to be done on this to explore all the options. But let's put these estimated costs into perspective. An APP could cost up to $2.2 billion to set up, but it has the potential to save Albertans $5 billion in the first year if implemented. We know that you'll have a lot of questions about a potential Alberta pension plan, questions about portability, governance structure, and who would make investment decisions to keep an APP sustainable, stable, and as safe as the CPP. The release of this report is just the first step in our commitment to engage with Albertans on all their questions. I want to stress that an APP would have to guarantee your benefits. The Canada Pension Plan Act dictates that in order to qualify for withdrawal from the CPP, a provincial plan must provide at least the same level of benefits to its citizens as the CPP. We wouldn't move forward with an Alberta pension plan unless it benefited every Albertan and brought long-term security that Albertans need and deserve. and we wouldn't move forward without your explicit approval. We will be introducing new pension protection legislation this fall that, if passed, would provide Albertans several guarantees. One, we guarantee we won't launch an APP unless Albertans vote in favor of it in a referendum. Two, we promise an APP would provide the same or better benefits to Albertans. Three, we won't launch an APP unless it means the same or lower contribution rates than the CPP. And finally, we guarantee that all the funds owed to Alberta from the CPP would be used only to set up and operate an Alberta pension plan that protects the interests and benefits of all Albertans. You earned your pension, and you deserve financial security if an APP moves forward. Albertans come first, now and always. In addition to the release of the report, Alberta's government is launching an engagement panel led by Honourable Jim Dinning. The engagement panel will consult with Albertans, providing opportunities for Albertans to ask their questions, raise their concerns, and provide their thoughts on a potential APP. Over the coming months, the panel will host a series of telephone town halls, and we will launch a public survey to collect your feedback. Again, the release of the report is only the first step towards considering a provincial pension plan. The Alberta government will not switch to an APP unless Albertans have their say on whether or not an APP is right for them. We've committed to Albertans that they will have the most accurate information at hand when making a decision. Alberta's government will continue to act in good faith. We will also continue to make strong fiscal choices so that every Albertan can participate in Alberta's economic momentum. The next steps are up to you because it's your pension, your retirement, and your future. I take this engagement very seriously and look forward to the panel's findings. I will turn it over to Jim to provide more details on the panel's next steps. Thank you all.
Thank you, Minister, Madam Premier. Standing in this room 26 years later brings back some memories, even a few nightmares. But here I am. Let me begin first by commending you, Premier, and you, Minister, and your colleagues for striking this independent panel to engage with Albertans. It's an honor to serve as the panel chair. I find the idea of an Alberta pension plan an intriguing opportunity for Albertans. And I know a decision on a public policy issue of this magnitude should only be made after plenty of rinsing and soaking and discussion and debate among Albertans. Most big ideas deserve at least that. The job of our panel is straightforward. We ask Albertans to read the report, look at the facts, participate in the discussions, and then tell us what they think, what individual Albertans think about the Alberta pension plan and the options that we will consider. It's not simple. A big issue like this never is simple. We expect our conversations will be complex and at times perhaps a little heated and most assuredly fiery. But people engaged in debate remind all of us how important sound public policy is for our society and for our prosperity. Albertans will figure this one out. The panel will have several engagement sessions and discussions. We are developing a workbook that'll be available online and in hard copy. It will give an overview of the report's findings, a section for people to provide feedback, as well as open-ended sections for their thoughts. So after listening and reading submissions from Albertans and other experts and thinking it through carefully, we will deliver a report with recommendations based on what we heard. All of this will be rolled out in the next few weeks, but in the meantime, we encourage Albertans to read the report, go online to the website that you'll find, and start the conversation with facts, not with fear, but with facts in hand. Joining the panel are two fellow Albertans for whom I have a very high regard. Mary Ritchie of Edmonton has a depth of experience in corporate governance and pension oversight, including her service as Alberta's first nominee to serve on the board of directors of the Canada Pension Plan Investment Board. Dr. Moin Yaya brings valuable legal and economics experience along with his contributions as a member of the Fair Deal panel. To conclude, let me say my fellow panelists and I look forward to talking with Albertans and hearing from them on the prospect of an Alberta pension plan. Thanks very much.